to win $1 million. We're moving on to Bills Ravens. Both teams 2-1, both quarterbacks at the top of the MVP ladder. Broussard, this game is more important for which team?
I want to answer that.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, just jump in.
I want to answer that.
You are enthusiastic.
Have the floor. I want to answer that. And by I want to, it means Wilds was supposed to ask me that. He screwed that up. It's not my fault. It's his fault.
All over the place.
The answer is the
It's
Bills.
not fair.
The Bills, listen, it's going to be very difficult for them to go 20-0, given the fact that they've already lost a game.
True.
But I guess 19-1 is still out there. They're still the overwhelming Vegas favorite. They're still by, the look-ahead line for next week, they're 2 touchdown favorites over Pittsburgh. It's the biggest underdog the Steelers have been since Super Bowl 30 against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the Bills are this amazing, unstoppable juggernaut unless they're 2-2. I mean, they've proven nothing in the postseason. They've proven less in the postseason than the Cincinnati Bengals have, than a handful of teams have. They also, last year, I will admit, that Chiefs game was a pretty close game. It was a good close game.
This is good.
No, I will admit that.
We saw the game.
He's going on a limb.
Do you guys think that game maybe would have gone a little differently if we're in Buffalo? Because I can admit it might have. Maybe if it's not an Arrowhead, the Chiefs don't win.
Sure.
So why was the game in Arrowhead? Because the Chiefs were in a juggernaut last year. Remember, they struggled. Remember, there was the Super Bowl hangover, all this stuff you told us about? Because the Bills were mediocre in the regular season. And why was the game the year before in the playoffs against the Chiefs in Arrowhead? Because the Bills were okay, but not great in the regular season. Can't be 2-2 and be this Super Bowl favorite that you and Jennings and everyone has them as. So I think Baltimore, it's like, we're banged up. We're underdogs anyway. If they win, it's great. If they lose, they can deal with it. If the Bills lose, all of a sudden it's like, they've really only played 6 good quarters this year. Like, that's interesting. So, yeah, I think it's way more important for the Bills.
First of all, the Chiefs were 1-2 last year, and you still had them as a Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah.
So
they
how
had
can
been to
they
2
can't
straight
be
Super Bowls.
2-2?
No, they had been. I'm sorry, I forgot that the Bills had been to 2 straight Super Bowls. Like, no, of course, no. It's a totally different circumstance.
I couldn't disagree with you more. All right, first of all, the game's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
All right, losing to another Super Bowl contender on their turf, there's no shame in that in week 4 of the NFL season. Okay. Secondly, I never said they're going to go 16-0 or 16-1, 15-2, even 14-3. The teams that got to the Super Bowls last year lost 5 games and lost 7 games. And the Buccaneers won it the year before, they lost 5. So a loss here, in fact, it might even be good for them.
Oh,
now, I think Buffalo's going to win because I think Baltimore's pass defense is not going to be able to handle Josh Allen. However, a loss, you don't want to lose, Coach. You want to win every game. You go out to win every game. You plan to win every game. But a loss this early in the season to a team that, as you said, everybody's just pouring all these accolades on. They're this, they're that. They're by far the best team, the deepest team, so on and so forth. This could be good. It could let them know we got to stay in the lab.
No.
We're not that great.
So no matter what
we
happens
got a lot of work to do.
I just want to make sure.
No, I mean,
I just want to make sure.
When
a
you're
win
this,
is good.
well,
but
you
a
asked
loss
me
is
that
good.
since you put it out there. When you're this good, your quarterback's this good, your defense is this good, you're great all the way around. Nothing that happens in week 4, unless they were 0-4, is going to ruin their season.
Ask a question real quick. Under the premise you're saying, which is when you're this good, and then the other premise of if they lose, it could be good. If they lose, what evidence do we have they're this good? Because they kick the crap out of the Titans. I understand, and we'll talk about the Chiefs later. And I am not arguing, and I have not argued at any moment this year. They're an unstoppable. The second half of because it's tied at halftime against the Rams. So we saw them play a great half against the Rams, which we also saw the Falcons play a great half against the Rams and almost come back and beat them. So I'm just if they're 2-2, what evidence do we have other than that the media keeps saying it that the Bills are awesome? Just somebody tell me.
Well, look, their last loss, they were pretty dominant throughout the course of the game.
Right.
And they shouldn't really, there's no way they should have lost that game. They mismanaged a couple things at the end of the first half, a couple things at the end of the second half. So there's a lot of evidence that they're a very good football team. To me, though, it's probably more important for the Ravens. The Ravens won 1, lose 1, win 1. They really shouldn't have lost the game that they did lose. And it's going to go back again to the defense. The defense has got to show some progress here. We obviously know they can score a lot of points, so they've got to be able to show some progress. And this is the whole AFC sweep, right? It's been all AFC East teams. they could dominate the AFC East, and I think that's the way they got to go.
So that's why I think it's the Ravens too. I think they've been that secondary, like Joe Flacco came and lit them up. If we can show the graphic. Flacco lit them up. Flacco threw for over 300 yards. Then Tua went in there, threw for 469. Mac Jones, granted he threw some balls to the Ravens still, but Devontae Parker did have over 150 yards, and he had 320 yards. I think Josh
feel like
Allen.
I'm taking crazy pills.
No, you're not. There's no crazy pills. It is going to be windy.
No one agrees with Nick's take.
It's going to be windy, so Josh Allen might not be able to light him up. But that defense is not great.
Right, but the question is not who do you think's going to win.
Yeah.
I think the Bills are going to win.
Well,
No. So I agree with you because of the Ravens' defense. I agree that I would be shocked if the Bills don't score at least 30-something.
Oh.
And Lamar has been unbelievable, but that's a tough ask against the Bills for Lamar to match point for point when the Ravens right now, he's a team of himself at the moment. But the question isn't to me, that graphic shows you why the Bills should win, which is another reason why it's more important that they do win. Because everybody's thrown on this team. And because
if they lose,
then they're
then
just
what? They might not make the playoffs?
No.
They're just a team?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Guys,
it's
I'm just
17 games.
I understand, but I am just curious.
And we were 5-5 in New England, and then won the Super Bowl.
Of course,
I mean,
that's
if you're 2-2, it doesn't. It's not some sort of recipe.
Oh my gosh.
What are we missing?
Here's what's happening.
Nothing. But
No, I am not saying a loss writes them off. What I am saying is they have been written in. They have been prematurely written in by everyone, despite, unlike New England, I'm not sure the year you're talking about, if it's Brady's first year, that's a separate story, unlike teams that have Super Bowl pedigree, or have won championships, or had multiple deep playoff runs, or teams, that's one way to get written in, well, every year they're there. Another way is, holy crap, they're 11-1. Oh my goodness gracious, they are a juggernaut amongst us. The Bills have not been the best team in their own conference since Jim Kelly was there. If they're 2-2, having lost to two other contenders in the AFC, we won't have evidence they're the best team in their own conference. We don't yet have evidence they're the best team in their own division this year. So all I'm saying is, if they are supposed to be the team everyone tells me they are, then they should win games, more games than they lose. And through 4 games, they would have won as many games as they lost. That seems hard. That seems like a tough thing for an unstoppable juggernaut.
Look, like I said, I think they'll win. But if they lose, this could be really good.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.